so so Wisconsin spends its entire off season trying to build their team to beat Iowa. They change like everything about what they're doing. They get bigger on the lines. They do 42 push-ups every single day after practice. They come out tonight, get an unsportsmanlike penalty before the game even kicks off, and they face plant so hard their face is imprinted on the block W at midfield at Wisconsin. Hawkeyes obliterate the Badgers. And I know those are words to Andrew Downs' ears.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. What a night. What a night. Big boy football. And one program just can't compete anymore, man. That's 4 in a row for the Hawkeyes. And as we sit here with going live in a Big Ten trophy game on the road at night with 5 minutes left because the game is so out of hand, as we sit here right now, 79-10 over the last 2 seasons between these two teams. Matt Weitzel from Iowa's athletic department just put out that 37 is the most Iowa has ever scored in Madison in the 99 times these two teams have played. Just an absolute ass kicking tonight. And man, is that good for the soul. Woo!
You can't survive this, Andrew. If you're Luke Fickell, you can't survive it because you pushed all your chips into the table. Like if everything else goes wrong, at least we won a rivalry game and beat our rival at what they do best. And not only do they not do that, dude, it was yakety sax out there for Wisconsin. It really was. That was pathetic.
You almost felt sorry for them.
Almost.
It's like you playing a low level FCS team, and you're like, oh man, I hope none of their boys get hurt. You know, it's yeah. But yeah, the key word there is almost, because screw that. Beating the shit out of Wisconsin is always fun.
This is Instant Iowa, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. I love being able to come on early. Usually we do this for like UMass.
Exactly.
But Wisconsin,
or when Ohio State is kicking our ass.
Right. Wisconsin's so bad that we're coming up here with 7 minutes to go. And Jeremy Hecklinski is finally in the goddamn game. Finally, Kirk Ferentz pulls Mark Gronowski and saves him to rest up for next week against Penn State in the 3-game homestand we have coming. AD, you ready to celebrate?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go!
Buddy.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fareway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fareway. It's more than just a name.
Hey, Hawkeye fans, Big Ten fans, and Iowans everywhere. This is Chad Leistico from Legends and Listeners.
And this is Scott Docterman. Join us as we discuss all things Iowa and the Big Ten every Thursday, only here on Iowa Everywhere.
It's time for Instant Iowa, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. From the Channel Seed Studios, here are your hosts, Chris Hassel and Andrew Downs.
All right, for those of you who don't know, Andrew Downs has a history with the state of Wisconsin. Andrew was kind of behind enemy lines for a while.
Yes.
Andrew lived in the state of Wisconsin for a while, and there's nothing he despises more than that state and that football program. And as long as we're doing this show, I am going to always, after an Iowa win, cede the floor to Wisconsin hater and Hawkeye lover Andrew Downs to tell us how you feel about Iowa absolutely kicking the shit out of the Wisconsin Badgers tonight.
Oh, it feels glorious, man. It's a balm for the soul. It feels amazing. And like last year, man, to the victor go the spoils. I got myself a spotted cow here. Gonna pop this bad boy open. And I'm not drinking that piss.
Whoa!
Give me an Easy Eddie, baby. We got a victory beer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You dumped
Go
the
Hawks.
spotted cow in the garbage can?
Hell yeah, that's piss water, man. I don't drink that crap. Give me an Iowa beer, like Easy Eddie, Victory Beers, Big Grove.
Yes.
It feels amazing, man. I mean, absolutely. This is what, coming into this week, I thought Iowa should do to this Wisconsin team. And, you know, for a lot of different reasons, you temper that. You try not to get out ahead of your skis a little bit. But I had a feeling that, man, if Iowa just goes out and plays the way they did against Indiana, the way they did against Rutgers, this team is so bad, this Wisconsin team, that you can run all over them. You can break their will. And, man, that 17-point first quarter broke whatever will this program had left in it. And you're exactly right in our opener. You can't survive this if you're Luke Fickell, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or 7 weeks from now when Wisconsin loses 7 more games, which is what's probably going to happen, or 6, or however many they have left.
They're not going to. You know who's coming in next week?
Yes.
Number 1 Ohio State on CBS. Oh my God!
It's going to get real dark in Madison.
That line's
man.
going to be in the 30s.
And it's already pretty dark there. I got a lot of reports from around the state, from Madison itself, that it just doesn't feel like big-time football right now. Pre-game, there weren't people around. The students showed up late. They left as soon as jump around was over. And as we know as Hawkeye fans, watching the basketball program last season, you lose the fan base to that level where people just don't care anymore. You get to apathy, and you can't survive that as a coach. And that's absolutely where Wisconsin is right now.
I just cracked my victory beer thanks to Big Grove. I don't have Big Grove down here in Florida, but I do have some Spottin' Oktoberfest.
Oh, very nice.
I am jealous of you with the Easy Eddie. I'm sure there are many of you who may be at Big Grove right now and listening later. Big Grove, the official game watch party for Iowa Hawkeye football. Sound up in all of their locations across the great state of Iowa. Hawkeyes rolling to what looks to be another complete bludgeoning. I mean, as bad as last year was for Wisconsin, it was a 42-10 Iowa win. This year looks worse. Now, AD, I don't think they're even going to get to the push-ups.
No.
This upcoming offseason, because Fickell's not going to be there, and I'm sure a lot of these players aren't even going to be there.
Well, again, if you add the 37 to the 42, 79 push-ups is a lot to do at the end of every practice, at the end of every drill. No, I think you're exactly right. And that's why, you and I are both kind of sickos in that we'll go search out the podcasts of our opponents, right?
Oh, my God.
And I was listening to a couple of different Wisconsin podcasts this week, and one of them had this game as the most important game of Luke Fickell's Wisconsin career. And not because of what it meant, in this season, and not because how good Iowa is or anything like that. They understand it's not the best team they're going to play, but the position that he had put himself in after last year's beatdown, which was, okay, that was a real wake-up sign for him and his program that we just got big boyed by Iowa. We got beaten on both lines of scrimmage. And whether or not we can make this air raid thing work, whether or not we can compete with the top schools, we can't get manhandled and emasculated the way that we did against Iowa last season. And they circled that, and they let it be known. We will not let this happen again. And it just happened again. And like you said, maybe not quite as lopsided as last season's was by the numbers. But both of these years, Gronowski is just over 100 yards passing. Brendan Sullivan had fewer than 100 yards passing last season in this game. You're scoring in the 30s and 40s on Wisconsin by just running the ball up their throat. It's something that you never thought you'd live to see, and now that we are, you just love to see it, man.
There was
fantastic.
one thing we thought Wisconsin could do, and that's stop the run.
Yeah, that's what we heard all week. The one strength of their team, stopping the run. Iowa 210 yards on the ground right now, and if they needed to, could have gotten more.
I feel like this team has an edge to it. I noticed it against Indiana, and I didn't know if that was because it was a top 10 team at Kinnick Stadium with those fans. I felt an edge. Like, we're going to out-physical you. We're going to beat the shit out of you. And I felt it again in this game right off the bat. I loved AD. The defensive line just right off the jump, just coming in and taking over this game completely. Tipped passes, interceptions, forced fumbles. They had Wisconsin running for their lives, and they made Wisconsin basically quit in the first 15 minutes of this game.
Absolutely. They knew they had nothing for it. They knew they weren't going to be able to come back from that 17-point deficit. They should have just given Aaron Graves that touchdown. I mean, at that point, there needs to be a rule in football where it's like the more fun option, especially if it's not going to change the outcome, the more fun option is the way you go. But that was awesome. And you're exactly right. The defensive line ate up their running backs, put pressure on the quarterback. The quarterback is not good as it is. I mean, that's an Iowa-level quarterback from the last few years that they've got there. Yeah. He's missing bad throws. It's rough going for Wisconsin right now.
Can you like put yourself in the shoes of a Wisconsin fan right now? Like, if that was Iowa, and Wisconsin came into Kinnick Stadium with a good, not great team, and did that in a must-win, I mean, all the chips were in. All of them. You geared it up. You saw that guy at the start of the game, that number 7 for Wisconsin. He was out there talking shit. This was everything to them. They got the night game. Oh my God. It's final, 37-0. First time Wisconsin has been shut out at home since 1980.
Wow.
1980. Wow. And
that's before you and I were born.
Yeah, you just turned 43. Happy birthday weekend, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks
what
to
a
the
present
Hawkeyes
for you.
The present. Yeah.
I would. I'd like to tip my cap to the Hawkeyes and Kirk Ferentz, because you lose a game like you did against Indiana, and it can go a bunch of different ways after that.
No doubt.
Like, it can go bad. You fall to 3-2. Really, you've lost the only 2 real games you've had. And you lose in that fashion, then it's a bye week, and you're getting ready for a shitty Wisconsin team. Iowa wanted to humiliate Wisconsin again, and they did.
And you're right. It feels like this is coming from the team more so than the coaches, right? Like, this team has decided they're going to be the tougher team. They're going to make you hate playing Iowa, and whether or not they win, it's going to be a close, hard-fought game. It was so obvious to me at the end of the first half when Iowa got the ball back. I don't remember exactly how much time was left, a minute 40, something like that.
The announcers thought Iowa was just going to sit on it and run out the clock.
And usually Iowa would have. And if Kamari Moulton gets stuffed on that first run or only gets 2 or 3 yards, they probably do. But you could see it in Kamari Moulton's eyes and the way he was acting. They wanted to score. He was like, I'm getting this ball every time. You can just hand it to me. That's fine. You can try to have me run out the clock. I'm gonna gash this defense for 10 or 12 yards, and we're gonna get downfield, and you're gonna have to do something. And it ultimately was a field goal for Drew Stevens at the end of the half. But you're exactly right. This team has decided that they're not going to give up. That those losses to Iowa State and Indiana, which one looks much better and one looks much worse after today, those aren't going to tank this season. This might be one of those years, Chris, where it's not the best record Iowa's ever had. They're not going to be a playoff team. They're not going to compete for a Big Ten championship.
I don't know, Andrew. I've seen some comments here. 10-2 is on the table.
Pump the brakes. But this might be one of those years where the team gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
And, mid-November, they're playing the best ball they've played. And, teams like Nebraska don't want to see that.
This was a 3.5, 4.5 point spread. Like
I bet the alternate spread at 9.5. I should have gone a lot higher.
I like doing that sort of thing. I should have done it for this because I was confident that no matter who played at quarterback for Iowa, Iowa was going to win. The only thing I worried about was playing Mark Gronowski, and I kind of knew that he wasn't going to be 100%, and he wasn't. Like,
clearly.
He looked like he might. I tweeted that he looks like he's 60% to me. Maybe it's 70%, but he's definitely not what he was.
No.
And it affected some of his passes. Like, he was off on some of these passes. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because Iowa created turnovers. And that's the thing that defense just hadn't been doing. They hadn't been creating these extremely short fields for the offense. And tonight you get 3 of those. You get 3 of those inside the 40-yard line where you're setting the offense up. And you do that, like as soon as Iowa went up 17-0 AD, it was over.
Yeah.
Wisconsin can't score that many points. It was done. We could have done instant Iowa at the end of the first quarter.
Absolutely. And you could see it again in the players of Wisconsin. It broke whatever will that they had left. They had pumped themselves up. And we've seen Iowa do, I mean, you see this happen, right? You get up for a game and you get smacked in the face. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. It's hard to get back up off the mat after that. And they were never able to. They were never going to be able to. And really, I mean, at that point, it was just hand the ball off and let these Iowa running backs eat. Gronowski didn't have to do much. Iowa beats this team, whether it's Hank Brown or Jeremy Heklinski at quarterback. I could have quarterbacked this team to a win in this game tonight, the way that it went. So it was interesting to see Gronowski as long as we did. You're right.
It was too long.
I thought so too. But again, if
He should have been taken out with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Because you could tell he didn't want to run. He was told not to run. The couple of times he had to run, he was very tentative in the way he ran. It was not the same Mark Gronowski. Hopefully a week from now against Penn State, we will see closer to the guy we got used to seeing the last couple of weeks. Heklinski didn't end up really doing anything. 1 for 1, 2 yards. I mean, he wasn't going to do a whole lot. We didn't get a great vision of him. I think the biggest breaking news is probably Jeremy Heklinski was the first guy to come in when they pulled Mark Gronowski, which is not something any of us thought was going to be the case.
Yeah, it was
even
David
up until
Eichel
this morning
from 24/7 Sports texted us before the game. He's like, guys, Heklinski's number 2.
Yeah,
he's not going to play most likely until late in the game, but he's going to get it over. Like so that means if Gronowski was not able to go, it was going to be Jeremy Heklinski as the starting quarterback for this game.
Which is wild. I mean, I think that's pretty promising that he went out and took that job over these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it was Hank Brown. I mean, that's the reason he came in Indiana when Gronowski got injured. And it felt like Hank Brown through that first week of the bye. And it really wasn't until late in this second week you started to hear some whispers of, hey, don't be surprised if this Heklinski kid takes this job. And I was surprised when I heard it today, and I was surprised that he was the first guy to go in. But I think it's very promising that he went and took that job, and that sets up for a hell of a quarterback battle this offseason, which is something Iowa really needs.
Yeah, and hopefully, as you said, Gronowski keeps getting better, and he's the quarterback the rest of the way and can be more like he was against Indiana than he maybe was tonight when he didn't really have to do anything because the Iowa defense forced Wisconsin, and sometimes didn't even have to force Wisconsin into some of those ridiculous mistakes, the yakety sacks mistakes. 37-0. Iowa blanks Wisconsin. You know what, AD? I would love it if we see a video later on tonight tweeted out by the Iowa football social medias, and Kirk Ferentz is in the locker room, and he says, guys, we are going to do 1 push-up after every practice for every point we gave up against Wisconsin this year. 0! None!
No push-ups. That's how many push-ups I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to do that'll be my new nightly routine. I like that. My new nightly routine is the number of push-ups Wisconsin scored against Iowa.
This is instant Iowa. We are up at the very latest instantly when the game ends. But sometimes we're lucky enough to go up before the game even ends, because tonight we knew that thing was over. Fareway Meat and Grocery, I'm sure they are going to be extremely busy this week with Iowa fans getting ready for the tailgate next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Against Penn State. That's going to be a night game, so a lot of meats will be cooked on those grills outside of Kinnick, and the swagger is back, I feel like. Penn State's not going to be ranked, but I just feel like Kinnick is going to be on
State
fire
be
for
favored?
that. No, I don't think so. I think
Jeez.
I think in the offseason, Penn State was favored by 14. Aller's out for the year, so I don't know who their backup is.
And talk about broken will. And I mean, one of these things in college athletics right now, with this pay for play and kind of guys coming for the money and for the chance to do something special, as soon as that goes away, as soon as you get especially that second loss and all of a sudden national championship dreams fade away, what are you there playing for?
Yeah.
How much heart do you have in it? How much are you willing to put or are
Dude,
you starting
I
to...
would guess Iowa's favored by over 3 points next week. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be one of the wilder shifts from a preseason spread to now. They're 0-3 in the Big Ten, and Northwestern beat them today. That's back-to-back losses they've had as a 3-touchdown favorite. Shout out to Raymond. Raymond Biaggi says he's in Italy, and he stayed up to watch the 37-0 drubbing.
Hell yeah, Raymond.
What the hell time?
That's dedication.
So it's 10:20 in the East. It's like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I was
going
to say 6-7 hours ahead.
God, Raymond, I love it. And not only that, he stays up to watch Instant Iowa as well. Hey, we've got to find a Wyckoff Heating and Cooling Peace of Mind player of the game, AD.
We absolutely
for all your
do.
Heating and cooling needs. Contact the locally family-owned team at Wyckoff Heating and Cooling. And this time of year, I've heard from a lot of people in Iowa, they're using both in the same day.
See, you can't do that. I've heard Williams say that a couple of times.
Dude,
That's soft.
I
That's
would
soft.
do it.
Well,
I
you're
would do it.
soft.
You know
that
what?
makes
Fine.
sense.
I am. I'm soft. I get cold easily. I get hot easily. I want it to be during the day. I want it to be 73 or so in the house. And at night, I want it to be 65 or lower in the house. So I'm definitely screwing around with that. And if you are, maybe things go haywire, give Wyckoff Heating and Cooling a call.
Especially this time of year, the first time you kick that furnace on.
I always hate the smell.
Yeah, and you're always a little bit
you
like
kick that heat on.
You're always a little bit like, okay, is it gonna work? It's been a while. No, this is the windows open time in the Downs house.
AD, I'm gonna give you first crack at player of the game. It was just a weird game. Like,
definitely,
I feel like there wasn't one guy that stood out. It was this was just a team bludgeoning.
It was, and so I'm gonna go with, if you'll allow it, the platoon of running backs for Iowa.
Oh, okay.
If you make me choose one, I probably go Xavier Williams because he had the 2 touchdowns and he's back from injury.
He looked good. He looked totally healthy.
He looked very good.
7 carries, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns.
But Kamari Moulton was the bell cow, and he's the one who got it going, and he was the steady back, and his long was only 14. He hasn't broken a long run all season, but he's just so damn steady, and he was good out of the backfield. He had 3 catches for 29 yards. His long play was actually a catch out of the backfield, a couple of nice screen plays. So he was fantastic. I really like what I see out of McNeil. He's a good little runner.
If you squint, if you squint a couple times when he was out in the open field, kind of jiggling around, it looked a little bit like an old number 25.
Yes,
now we can't say his name because he's totally disowned the football program, but and he's not quite as shifty as that. But the dude's a freshman. I mean, he could 9 carries, 40 yards. I loved what I've seen from McNeil.
And then you got the Gronowski tush push. I mean, see, I'm going to give it to Iowa's running game. The running, and again, especially because coming into this game, the only thing we were told that Wisconsin was actually good at
You're not going to be able to
was
run the ball on
defense.
them.
And I was worried about that. I thought, man, if they are able to make Iowa one-dimensional and Gronowski is at 70%, Iowa might have to squeak out a win here. No squeaking tonight, baby.
And I'm going to go platoon as well. Since you did it with the running backs, I'm going to go defensive line.
Yeah.
Those guys stepping up and what they did early with the, you had the Graves pick that it was 6 inches from a pick six. You had the deflection that ended up in an interception that really got things going for Iowa defensively and offensively. I mean, that was the jump start to the game that Iowa really needed. Like
yes.
They needed a play like that to get things going. And I think it was Allen that had the deflection.
Yes, he did.
Hawthorne
Yep.
with the interception.
Yep.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, they're going to roll in this game. Like, if Iowa's defensive line is making that big of an impact, they were like, hey, guys, I know we called you guys back there behind us, the Doughboys. No. It's us tonight.
We'll show you how it's done.
We've got it. We've got this. And they set the tone, and it was over. I had no stress from
none.
midway through the first quarter on in this game.
None whatsoever. And to pitch a shutout for this defense, again, in Madison, regardless of how bad this iteration of Wisconsin is, that's a program that doesn't get shut out. 1980, the last time they got shut out at home like that.
Insane.
That's an ass kicking in all phases for the second year in a row. I can't believe it. I can't believe, because again, this was what I thought was possible all week. I'm like, man, if Iowa puts this together and Wisconsin's as bad as they look, this shouldn't be a 2-touchdown game. This should be a name your score type game. And that's exactly what it was.
It was.
So it was great to see Iowa kind of live up to that.
Instant Iowa here with Chris Hassel and Andrew Downs. Really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Despite the fact that we don't see many Iowa State fans in the comments tonight.
No, where are they
We
at?
still have a very large live audience, and I've seen a lot of Iowa fans are like, "Hey, this is nice. We just get to talk amongst ourselves. We don't have these dumbass Iowa State fans in it. They're down bad, back-to-back road losses for the Cyclones.
It's funny how quickly things change in college football.
It is. You're right.
It really is. I mean,
Let's go back. The last show we did, it was post-Indiana, and Iowa State was rolling against Arizona, and they finished that night unbeaten, and Iowa's sitting there at 3-2, and
we were sad, man. We were like
2 weeks later.
Our buddy Jake Brent texted. He was like, man, he was watching after the fact.
He felt bad for us.
He's like, this is a good show, but man, it's making me sad to watch. I'm like, yeah, just think how it was to live it.
This victory beer tastes real good. Instant Iowa is brought to you in part by the Iowa Corn Growers Association. Bet a lot of combines out there right now.
Oh yeah.
It's harvest season. I don't know if we've had the harvest moon yet or not. But
I think it was this last. We had a full moon just a few nights ago, and I think that was the harvest moon.
It was down here in Florida. It was a spooky full moon. Ooh. The harvest full moon. Pump it up with ethanol at the pump, and you're helping to support Iowa's farmers. Iowa, the #1 corn growing state, and every choice you make can help support Iowa farmers.
Yeah, Wisconsin corn sucks.
I
would
never eat Wisconsin corn ever.
No. Cows refuse to eat it.
How about Iowa's dominance in trophy games of late? A note from the University of Iowa that the Hawkeyes are now 30-11 in their last 41 rivalry games. That's against Iowa State, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Like, even in the years where you don't feel great, usually you still win more of the trophies than you lose. Usually you still get 3. Sometimes you get all 4. And the Bull is back again. That's 4 straight times against Wisconsin. AD, that's the first time that's happened since the glory years of Kirk Ferentz football. 2002 to 2006. So 02, you had the team that went to the Orange Bowl. 03, you go to the Outback Bowl. I think that was the year they smoked Florida in the Outback Bowl. 04, you win the Big Ten, tie for the Big Ten championship again for the second time in 3 years. 05 as well was one of those really good years where you went to the Outback Bowl. And this is the first time I get Wisconsin's down, but Iowa took, like, they were a wounded animal, ready to just, we're gonna save our coach, we're gonna turn the season around. And Iowa took that wounded animal and just like ripped it limb from limb from the start of this game, and then stuffed its face into the turf.
It's, for two programs that have measured themselves against each other for half a century, if not longer, there are these kind of watershed moments, these turns of the tide, right?
Because it was bad 5 years ago.
We saw in 2010, Iowa gives up that fake punt in that huge game against Wisconsin, and that turned the tide into Wisconsin's favor for the next decade. And Iowa won a couple of games here and there. 2015, obviously, the Hawkeyes got that one. But for the most part, Wisconsin was the dominant program in the Big Ten West and in this rivalry for that entire decade.
They were the better version of Iowa.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
took Iowa's, like Barry Alvarez took what he got from Hayden Fry and all that time. He took all that. It was like a carbon copy, and he made it better.
And you can point to that 2010 season where it became lopsided. And all of a sudden, Wisconsin had the edge, and they kept it for a long time. And now in the last 5 years, Iowa's won 4 of the last 5, dating back to 2020. They lost in 21, have now won, I guess, 5 of the last 6 now, right? Yeah. 4 in a row.
And it's a good lesson for us. Me, specifically. I thought when Wisconsin made that move, fired Paul Chryst, brought in Luke Fickell, that was going to be the move that elevated Wisconsin to the next level, like up to the level of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State in this conference.
Yeah.
And I was
scared.
Jealous. I was jealous, honestly. I thought,
absolutely.
Well, God, Iowa could never make that move.
That's
they
the word
never
for
make
it.
that
Exactly.
move.
They went out and had the balls to hire that kind of guy and to ultimately throw their existing culture in the trash in hopes of rebuilding something very quickly. And now that looks ridiculous. And David Eichholt and I were talking about this a little bit last night on Hawks on Tap because you see Indiana and they changed everything and it's worked out incredibly well. Now, they didn't have much of a culture to speak of, right? They didn't throw out 100 years of a type of football. And Wisconsin has tried to do that. And I think a lot of Iowa fans, whenever Kirk Ferentz hangs it up, wants Iowa to do that, right? Go out and get something different. Go out and change. And maybe they will, and maybe it'll work.
I would never want to see Iowa.
This has not worked for Wisconsin.
I wouldn't want to see them go like total air raid. I think Iowa has an identity, and it's what we saw tonight. I think that there are coaches out there potentially that eventually could replace Kirk Ferentz that could take that next step because maybe you're not as conservative in some parts. Maybe you're not like, well, he's a freshman. I mean, he just doesn't have any experience. I don't think we can play him that much. That sort of stuff. I love Cignetti. I think Cignetti is he's like a generational guy. Like that just doesn't happen. What he's done at Indiana, no one can expect that anywhere else. That's a once in a generation type coach. They go in there to Oregon today and they win by double digits. Nobody's asking for that. Nobody's asking for Iowa to beat that. But this was just another reminder that, yeah, we're probably not going to go to the playoff this year. We're probably not going to win 10 games.
No.
But, man, they play their asses off. They will beat you up. And the quarterback doesn't have to do much.
No.
And I don't have any problem with that tonight. No problem whatsoever. Because they didn't need to. All Gronowski needed to do was stay out of his own way. Just let that defense suffocate Wisconsin and hand that ball off to your running backs behind a great offensive line. And get out of there with another rivalry game win against Wisconsin, which is something that we weren't able to say for a decade or so. I mean, they were few and far between against this Wisconsin program.
And you mentioned these trophy games and Iowa's record in them lately. And these have to be important to us as a fan base and as a program, because it can't just be playing for college football playoff berths or Big Ten championships. If that's all that counts, if that's the only thing that satisfies you,
it can't be that.
satiates you,
No.
you're never going to be satisfied.
I think AD.
You need to enjoy things like dominating your closest rivals.
It's
the schools
dominating
you see
the
every
rivals, getting those trophies, and anytime a highly ranked team comes into Kinnick, you give them everything they can take.
Indiana did not have fun 2 weeks ago. They wanted to get the hell out of there, and they're lucky they did with the win.
I wish Penn State was ranked. I wish Penn State wasn't at the level that they are.
Yeah, because now when Iowa beats them, it'll be like, you kicked them when they were down. They were falling apart anyway.
But you are going to get a chance with Oregon. You're going to get a chance at USC. Now, that's on the road. And I think that's the least winnable game Iowa has on their schedule, honestly. I think.
Yes, I agree. By the thinnest of margins over Oregon, but I agree.
You've got a chance. You have these games. Like, I'm a lot more excited about the rest of the season because they have those kinds of opportunities, as opposed to what it would have been 2-3 years ago, where it's like Michigan State, Minnesota, and shit, Nebraska's even 5-1 or whatever.
Yeah,
have
USC beating Michigan right now.
Just kicking their ass. I didn't think this always happens. I didn't think, AD, that I would be more excited for the rest of the season based off of a win against Wisconsin, but I thought it would be like a 20-7 win, just like a plodding whatever. And it was a plodding win, but it was a dominant win thanks to the defense.
Again, it's wild how our emotions fluctuate.
Yeah.
I had so many conversations these last couple of weeks with Hawkeye fans, because that Indiana loss was gutting. I mean, it really was.
Gutting.
It really was.
They earned so much respect from me.
Yes.
The way they played that game.
Yes, and to follow it up with this, right? Because if you follow it up with a lackluster performance, even in a win over a bad Wisconsin team, it's one thing.
And look what Indiana did today. They went into Oregon and just kicked their ass by double digits.
And Iowa should have beaten Indiana,
they should have.
Which is wild.
And I had it written down on my notes. Please try not to play the what-if game. I know it's so hard.
It's so hard, man.
Because
you lost 2 winnable games.
Gronowski doesn't get hurt. You win that game. Everything's out there. Like you are a ranked team.
Oh shit, you're a top 10 team.
You're moving into the top 15 probably.
Yeah.
And it's all there, but
you're right. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You can't.
It doesn't do any good. It's not going to make you feel better. You got to just look forward to what's next, and what's next right now is Penn State. And, I've heard people say, I even said, hey, maybe Iowa can kill 2 coaches' careers in back-to-back weeks.
I wonder if Franklin makes it.
I was going to say, it'll be interesting to see if
James
James Franklin makes it to Iowa City.
I mean, it's so toxic. It's so bad now after that loss. I don't know.
Does Luke Fickell? Well, this day, and Max, thank you for the super chat, Max. Who gets fired first, Fickell or Franklin? This day and age, because I always thought, especially with these big buyouts, it's like you wait till the end of the year. You pull a Kirk Ferentz, right? You wait till the end of the year before you make these kinds of decisions. But in this day and age, with the transfer portal and boosters and donors playing such a big part, the NIL collectives, can you afford to not make a change? Or do you do what Beth Getz did a couple of years ago and put it out? Hey, we're making a change. We're not going to do it right now. James Franklin is a dead coach walking. Luke Fickell is a dead coach walking. He's a lame duck coach.
If Luke Fickell doesn't average 10 points per game the rest of the season, he's fired.
Yeah,
because he might not.
That team's not scoring 10 points against Oregon or Ohio State. I mean, and by the time they get to that Minnesota game, they're going to be so broken. So that's the thing. Do you make the move now? And then if you do, it's important not to put somebody you actually want to hire as interim, because they're going to get the shit kicked out of them these next 6 weeks.
What happened with UCLA, though?
Yeah.
Look at those bastards. They go in there, they just wipe the
Michigan
floor
State
with Michigan State today. As a 6.5-point dog, they go in there, they win by, I don't know what it was, 20, 25 points. And now all of a sudden, Neuheisel, the offensive coordinator, is the girl with the curl. And I can't remember the interim's names. He's kind of been overshadowed because of Neuheisel. But like those guys, I think have a legit shot to actually, if they keep going, they could get that job.
Yes, but that's a team in UCLA that was underperforming for the talent that they had, right? And the schedule that they had. While Penn State was clearly a good team when they played, they clearly aren't a top 2 team. And Wisconsin's schedule does not set up for an interim coach to be able to do well with the talent that they have on that team.
God, no.
They host Ohio State next week. They are at Oregon the week after that.
That spread is going to be 30 points in that game next week.
And they've still got Indiana, Illinois on the schedule with a home game against Washington. But by the time they get to Washington, I think this was their 10th straight loss to Power 4 schools, their 8th straight Big Ten loss. They're going to run that number up. By the time Washington comes to town, this program already is a shell of itself. They're not beating that team. And then they're going to get trounced by Indiana and Illinois. They're not beating Minnesota. They're not going to Minnesota and winning the last day of they're going to lose out.
Sucks to be you.
Oh, it's fucking awesome, baby.
Sucks to be you, Wisconsin.
Because here's the thing. I bookmarked those Wisconsin podcasts. I'm keep listening to those. That's Schadenfreude all day, baby. I love that. I eat that for breakfast.
AD, what are we going to flush? We got the Ackerman Plumbing Flush It. Hit up our friends at Ackerman Plumbing in Johnson County and the surrounding areas, ackerman-plumbing.com.
Yeah, what do you got? What are you going to flush?
Everything was okay. It was
everything was okay.
Even the field goal kicking game.
Yeah, right?
The snaps were good. The holes were good.
No screw-ups on special
Stevens
teams.
was banging them. I'm going to go Gronowski again. Just flush that. You got that game out of your system, right? You got back on the field. You got back out there. You proved that you could do it, that you can play a full game. You can play your ball. It wasn't anywhere close to 100%, but you've got to be better. You've got to be at a higher level next week.
As Kai Beatty says, flush Mark's interception. That was a bad interception he threw.
Oh yeah,
bad ball. You can't throw that.
That was really surprising that they even called that play and threw that ball. In that situation, I think it was 17-0 at that point. Like, that's the only way Wisconsin could get back in the game, something like that. So that's my flush.
I like that. QC Hawk says, finally flush the Indiana game after that performance. That's going to be tough to flush. You know what I'm going to flush? I'm going to flush the Iowa State loss as a good loss, because it no longer is. That team has struggled these last couple of games. I mean, the Big 12 is not a great conference, but it's one thing to lose to the good Big 12 teams. It's another thing to lose back-to-back games to Cincinnati.
They were a different team then, though. They had Conradi. If they had the same team they had right now,
how wild is that?
Iowa would
kicker for Iowa State, and it's like, well, I mean, they were a different team back then. They had a guy who could kick a field goal. They had an offensive lineman kicking off today.
315 pounds.
Yowza. But I mean, again, I've been in my head. It's like, oh, you lost to 2 top 15
You know who
teams.
lost that game? The Iowa coaching staff lost that game.
Yes. Yeah.
That is on them.
And I've done my mea culpa for how down I was on Mark Gronowski after that game. I'm
They put
sorry.
the shackles
I was
on.
wrong. I even said at the time, I hope a month from now I sound like an idiot. I go back and I listen and I sounded like an idiot. And
I don't think
I'm
you
happy
did.
about that.
Yeah, look, I don't agree with some Iowa fans who say we're 2 plays away from being unbeaten. Like what's the play in the Iowa State game? Like a 70-yard Hail Mary?
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
guess you
game?
could if
It wasn't.
because that's the thing. Because I think the assumption is I think the play people point to is that tipped ball that Gabe Burkle brought down for a first down.
Yeah, but
and I think the assumption is, well, Iowa
still have
finds a
to-
way, but you have stuff to go down.
They're
and
going to
score.
punt, and then you got to go down and score.
And there was nothing to say I was going to do that.
No,
the Indiana game, they were a play
should
away.
have won the Indiana game.
Yes,
I
They
do
were a
not
play
look at
away
that
from
Iowa
that.
State game. I do
No,
not
I
look
agree.
back and say they should have won that game.
I agree.
I think Iowa State should have won that game, and they did.
Yeah, they were the better team.
But
They don't look like the better team now. It's
God damn it.
how good of how big of a Cyclone fan do I sound like when I say, man, I wish we got them now. I wish we were able to play them now, right?
well, they've got they've got like nobody. They're out there
No,
top
it's-
corners. They're out there.
Yeah,
top,
it's rough.
They're out
it's
there.
rough there.
But
But that's a bad Colorado team that they lost to today,
Yeah,
and they
that
lost
was
in a bad way.
That was a bad loss.
Terrible
And,
call on that no call of
Horrible. Horrible.
And the worst part is I just called it a no call. It wasn't a no call. They called it, and they
They picked up the
uncalled
flag.
it. That type of shit always happens to Iowa State, and it only happens to Iowa State. It's wild.
And that's why those fans are beside themselves about that. But enough about those
Yeah.
clowns.
That's my flush it, though. Flush that. I thought that was going to be a good loss all season. I thought, you know what? A team that's going to go probably play for a Big 12 championship, you lose by 3 at their place. It's not a big deal. That loss looks worse now.
God damn, I didn't want to play this what if game, but now I'm doing it in my head.
How can you
know?
not, man? It's human. It's human.
Excuse me. My wife's not
That's
here,
that,
so she
that's
can't
that
yell at me.
Oktoberfest. Oh, yeah, so you had
Yeah.
the Outback tonight.
Yeah, oh
How
God.
was that? I saw Kluver saying the brown butter. I'm not an Outback
no,
guy, so I don't know.
brown bread.
Brown bread.
You get the brown bread at Outback. Outback is my go-to if I'm by myself and I just need a good hearty meal. And I'll get the 6-ounce sirloin with the baked potato and a house salad, and that'll set me up. I had the TV tray out, had that right in front of all the games, and
It was good to see Kluver talking to you again, or talking, because he's a little upset. You guys took his. They've been doing a Wednesday night live show all season.
I felt bad.
And he's
I
throwing
didn't
a little.
I didn't realize that.
There's a little
I
Hawk,
heard-
Hawk
I heard
on
you-
Hawk beef going.
I heard you guys mention that on Hawks on Tap, and I honestly I had no idea that was the case. Like I listened to that, but it's never live.
No, and they
always
posted
listening.
on Thursdays, and it's always been a Thursday show.
I've
This is
never
the first
listened to
year
that
they
on a
started.
Wednesday.
They started doing it live on Wednesday night for their Patreon.
Well, Iowa fans, if you don't know about it, it's a great podcast.
It is.
It's
I love those
former
guys.
players, and it's players that were in the trenches. It wasn't the quarterback. It's not like Cade McNamara. These were dudes that were just fucking grinding.
Yeah, they're
As
Iowa guys.
walk-ons.
Yes.
Kluver's a long snapper and just bleeds black and gold and grinds. So I would highly suggest adding that to your weekly listen, the Washed Up Walk-Ons podcast.
They've gone final in Milwaukee, and
Oh no!
I know you don't care, but
What's this?
your Cubs season is over.
The Brewers won.
3-1.
I
Brewers
wish
win
I cared. I
3-1.
don't anymore.
And
You know what?
And
Good for the
here's something.
Brewers.
Here's something you're never
Good
going to
for
hear me
those
say.
bastards.
Yeah, here's something you're never going to hear me say. Go Brewers.
Yeah.
Because as much as I hate Wisconsin as a whole, I fucking hate the Dodgers.
So it's Brewers Dodgers?
NLCS. Yep.
Okay. Well, sorry to all the Cubs fans out there. I'm sure there are many of them. Cubs made that a series. Milwaukee was the best team in the National League this season, and we'll see what they do against the Dodgers. AD, is there anything else you want to add to what has been, I would guess, a perfect birthday weekend for you?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
You turned 43. Wisconsin did 42 push-ups all off season because Iowa put up 42 on their ass last year. And then tonight, Iowa beats them 37-0.
Amazing. I will say, just quickly, good on the defensive backs. TJ Hall looks better and better. He is that kind of number one corner. He might not be Cooper DeJean
there
or
were a couple times,
Desmond King, but
they were out there on an island and they had to make a play.
He is playing solid football right now, and good on him. And then great to see Reese Vanderzee back. We heard so much about him in the offseason. So much about his struggles in the passing game was kind of put on his absence. And to see him come back, and we knew he wasn't going to play a ton, but he caught 3 passes, 29 yards. It was just good to see him back out there, and Gronowski finding him a couple of times. And hopefully Gronowski gets healthy this week. It'll be interesting to see what Kirk says on Tuesday, what Mark says on Tuesday, what they're saying right now in the post game. And hopefully that adds another dimension to this Iowa offense where, again, it's not going to be a dynamic passing game, but it doesn't need to be. You got to convert third and sevens. You got to be able to keep the ball, hold on to the ball, allow your running game to wear down the other team, right? And that's what I would. Hayden Large also a couple of nice catches. That one they didn't call a catch, but what a fantastic grab that would have been down to like the 5-yard line. A great throw and catch there. So like finding some things here, right? It's not perfect. It's not great. You beat the shit out of a terrible team tonight, but continuing to grow, finding some things. This is and now the schedule is going to get to a point where you're going to have to be able to do this consistently to beat these teams. Because Penn State is down, that's still a good team. They're going to come in and whatever pride they have left, pride they have left is going to come to Kinnick Stadium next Saturday. And I was going to have to play well to win that game, and if they do, you're going to feel good about it. But yeah, nice to see just kind of steady progress this season.
37-0. Iowa beats Wisconsin.
Kick their ass, man. That's so. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
AD, thank you so much. Great job all weekend. Looking forward to more this week with Murph and Andy. Iowa fans, if you want a real laugher, tune into Cyclone Sunday tomorrow with Aiden Wyatt and Ben Bruns. See what those poor bastards have to say after their second straight road loss as a favorite. Our thanks to Fareway Meat and Grocery. So glad that they are on board with us as a presenting sponsor here on Instant Iowa. AD, enjoy this one. Enjoy the birthday weekend. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who has watched and listened. Go Hawkeyes. We'll talk to you next week after Iowa hopefully beats Penn State at night.